This series has been all about chasing the edge of the continent, the edges of civilization, and the edges of my own experience and boundaries. And nowhere captures that like Arnhem Land. This place is as wild as it gets. In this episode, we'll be going deeper than we have before anywhere in the country into the wilderness, looking for that edge, looking for fish, looking for absolutely pristine landscapes. It is going to be a real mission just to get out there, and an even bigger mission to get on the water and back alive. This episode is all about finding the edge and going past it, going beyond it. There is no map for human experience, and if there was, a man would do well to cast it away and forge on blindly. The surprises, the accidents happy and otherwise, they are what make a life become a story worth telling. Anthony from East Arnhem Fishing is one of the happy accidents. When I first spoke to him about fishing around the Gove Peninsula, his words were, "Do you want to go on an adventure?" The mission was anything but simple. Take the D-Max and the MUX and two boats 250 kilometers out into the wilderness of Arnhem Land, past Gapawiak, a tiny Aboriginal community cut off from the rest of the world but for a monthly barge bringing supplies. Load everything into the boats and head off up the Buckingham River to camp in the mangrove jungle chasing barramundi at the edge of everything. It's hard to believe when Anthony says the fishing up here is going to be even better than back in Melville, but it's pretty virgin country, mate. He's made some big promises about lots of fish.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen to check it out. It's just hundreds of miles of coastline that are pretty much untouched. It's going to be pretty cool.
The country here, most of Arnhem Land, if you aren't near a body of water, is largely homogeneous. A never-ending forest of burned gum trunks and red Pindon dirt. Up close, it is a desert, but its scale is what is staggering. It is a body of land nearly the size of England, with the population of a remote town. The majority of the Aboriginals who call this land home live in communities separated by hundreds of kilometers. The land here is as empty as any desert, unless you're near water. Here at the edge, life can't be held back. This is the Arnhem Land of the mind. This is the place I've been dreaming about. I'm thinking one day I'm gonna come up here and have mad adventures. Just drop the boat into the Buckingham River. We're gonna cruise up the river, have a camp out in the middle of the wilderness. This place is virgin country. There are barra here by the dozen. This is Arnhem Land at its best. Swags, camera gear, fuel, fishing rods and tackle, a week's worth of beer and ice. This was an expedition. We launched into the Buckingham River on high tide at the barge landing. Timing was everything. The landing becomes a 15-foot steep mud bank if you miss the tide, and there's no getting in or out of the river. Running north toward the bay, our wake was rippling just below the mangrove leaves. At low tide, these same trees would be distant specks behind long mud banks. The rivers and creeks up here pulse like the blood in our veins with the tides, bringing nutrients in and carrying everything away to the sea. The landscape feels alive here, violently alive. There's a sense of liminality that's palpable on the river. We are very much leaving one world behind, and at the same time, entering a strangeness that beckons us. After a few hours running against the wind, we found a sheltered, sandy beach just shy of Buckingham Bay. This would be our base of operations for the days ahead, spent trolling and casting for the silver ghost over rock bars and on the jagged headlands of the myriad creeks and rivers in the area. What an absolutely amazing place. This is about as far from civilization as I've ever been. Found a great little beach here, so we pulled up for the night, gonna have a fire, enjoy this paradise before we get into what I'm told is some of the best fishing on the planet. This, right here, is living the dream.